Hi, this is Marnie Pearson and Sue Painter back with the online business reality show, or Marnie and Sue's Peep show, where we pull back the curtains on our life and business and kind of give you a glimpse into what's happening in our online businesses. And welcome back. Let's see, Sue, are you Florida or Nashville today?
No, we're back. We're back to Nashville. We came back yesterday.
Cool. I should be able to guess maybe by the whole bigger setup in the Nashville place, right? So,
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, where do we start?
Well, I think that we should start exactly where we are, which is that sometimes life throws us big changes that are personal that end up affecting our business life in one way or another. And so you've got a big personal change coming up, so you may as well let people know about that.
Yeah, I am officially engaged as of Saturday. So evidently my little Men and Money affirmation audio paid off. one of the girls, one of our viewers, Joanne, said, "It's time to raise the price on that now." So anyway, so yeah, and he's gonna be moving in with me, and we're looking at maybe, I don't know if it'll be September 4th or not. This depends on if we get the church and get everything lined up. So I've been cleaning like a mad woman. I had my son up in the attic pulling everything out of the attic, and anyway, doing all kinds of stuff. So I've been making runs to the dump. I almost completely forgot our show today till luckily the Google Calendar dinged at me, and I'm like, I haven't had a shower. So
I think we've both been busy because I almost forgot it too, but thank goodness. And usually I turn off those little Google reminders because I don't like them. I usually have my calendar right in front of me for today, but I don't know. Today I just got up and we had the housekeepers here, and I wanted to go to the gym and get 10 minutes in on the elliptical, and I wasn't focused on my calendar. So it's a good thing for both of us that we had a calendar alert. Maybe we should keep our calendar alerts on more than we think we ought to. But there is a point to be made for, when we go through big changes like a marriage or a relationship change, a divorce, it really does affect our businesses. It affects the way that we think about ourselves, and therefore it affects the way we think about our businesses. It also sometimes affects our priorities for a while and the timelines that we have to get things done. So, Marnie, I don't know what your plans are for your business between now and September 4th, if you're waiting to see if that's going to be the big day or not. But have you seen or have you noticed how it has made you feel differently about your business in any way?
Well, there's expenses involved with the wedding, so I'm kind of amping up my business. I've launched a few things. I put out a thing to do some done-for-you tech option for my product creation folks, because a lot of them don't have a website, or they've got one and they don't know how to put their stuff on it, don't know how to get their sales page on it and stuff. So I just released that to them this morning. And I'm actually going to make a little expansion on my Men and Money thing. I thought it'd be fun to, and I was working on that sales page when the little thing dinged to remind me about our show, to give them a couple of sessions with me where we break down and look at what their affirmations need to be. Because, while they might have something in common with me with the Men and the Money, they may have their own stuff, what I mean, that wouldn't relate to me. So where I work with them individually and we craft their own affirmation video, and then either I can record it or they can record it, and I'll put music to it, and so it'll be customized. So I was working on that because I thought that might be helpful for people that are really interested in that. That's really, I've had a lot of sales of that in the last few days as I've announced my engagement. I've had a bunch of people.
They say if you build a business around sex or money, it's always going to be a successful business.
Maybe it's telling me I need to go in that direction. I don't know.
Maybe. The reason I keep looking down is because Jake, my little quiet Jake doggy, is with me in the room today. He's kind of clinging because he was over at the kennel while we were gone to Florida. But he's not the doggy who is rudely barking in the background. Jake doesn't, I don't know whose dog that is. It must be yours. Jake is old enough now that he's pretty deaf. And, when dogs go deaf, they quit barking because they don't hear anything to respond to. So he's kind of like a little ghost around the house, and we really do miss hearing his bark. And his little, he used to, when it was time to eat, he used to come up and go, ow, like, feed me, feed me. And we haven't heard that out of him in a while. So it's kind of sad to see him in his older years getting a little bit more fragile. But that's another life change, you know, that affects us all. I've seen lately on Facebook several people, 3 or 4 friends of mine, who have lost dogs or cats that they've had for 18, 19 years. And you know, that's a part of this whole ebb and flow of business and life and how it intermeshes together that Marnie and I talk about a lot during the Peep Show, because it really isn't possible when you own your own business to separate your life and your business so cleanly and succinctly. And I actually don't even think that a true entrepreneur wants to do that. We're kind of always thinking about our businesses in the background. So yeah, but things that are sad or things that are happy, like marriages or doggies getting older or doggies passing away, all of that affects us and makes us think about ourselves and our businesses in different ways. So it's kind of interesting, but congratulations to you. I'm happy for you. I know that's something that you've wanted for a while. So
yeah, it's fun. And speaking of my rude dog,
he's quiet now.
Quiet. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'm hoping maybe Chris can train her. He was a dog handler in the Air Force. So I'm like, okay, can you teach her anything? Can you teach her how to walk on a leash or how to be quiet? So
yeah, he might can. So are you going to be teaching him about online businesses?
I don't know. I doubt it. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, I have one thing that I want to mention, and I don't have the link, but maybe when we send out the replay for this, I can send the link. I am doing a webinar, a free webinar, which I don't often do. I usually charge a little bit of money for my webinars for reasons that we can go into later. But I have realized that I have an awful lot of people who blog, and then they think that being a blogger consists of writing content and putting it on the blog. And actually, there's 3 parts to blogging. First of all is content management and titles and keywords and all that. Secondly is writing the actual blog post. And then thirdly is driving traffic to that blog post. And that's where I see most people fail abysmally. And that's hard for me too. It's harder and harder to get comments. You really shouldn't even think about the number of comments on your blog anymore. What you should look at are your analytics and how many people are actually looking at the blog, because a lot more people will look at it than will actually take the time to leave a comment anymore. It's not the blog community that it used to be for a lot of us. Some people may disagree with that, but that's what I see happening in the online world. So anyway, I'm doing a webinar on August the 12th, and it is about how to get the most visibility for every blog post you create. And it's a system that I use to make sure that I not only write my blog post, but that it gets proper visibility and reach within the world of social media, which in return drives people to your website to read that blog post, and then that increases your traffic. So I'm doing that webinar, and I have a little worksheet that I have developed for that everybody will get a copy of before the webinar, so that as I train to that worksheet during the webinar, you can actually go down and see what I'm doing and see how you can use that workshop for you. So if you're interested in attending that, then you can email me, sue@confidentmarketer.com, and I also will put a link in the replay when we send the replay link out to everybody. So if you want to join me, if that's something of interest to you, you can join me on August the 12th, and it'll probably be I will take questions and answers. It will only take me probably about 30 minutes to train to the worksheet. So then I'll hang around, and if people have questions about their particular situation, I'll be happy to talk with them, and we'll see how long the webinar goes. I don't think it would be over an hour in any case, though, even with questions and answers. It's a simple system, but it's real methodical and step-by-step, and then that way you just don't write a blog post and let it sit. And you can actually go back and use this for older blog posts on your blog or your website that have been languishing and haven't gotten a lot of traffic. You can use this for an old blog post as well as for a new one.
Cool. I thought about going back and maybe retitling and my old blog posts and re-releasing them and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think you can do that if you have a healthy bunch of content. And Marnie, you're probably like me. You probably do. I mean, I have probably 500 or 600 blog posts on my website by now because I've been blogging for 10 years. But I am learning, I'm learning a little more about it. And, you know, for one thing, if you really are wanting to, you have to think about what do you want to use your blog for. If you're using it to drive traffic and build your visibility, you really need to do it more than once a week. Once a week is like forever in the online world, forever. And I actually just, over on visualcontenthelper.com, I just did a 31-day blog challenge, which almost killed me, having to come up with content every single day and then push that content out. And I didn't do it all 31 days of July. I think I missed 5 days maybe of the month, but I'm proud of myself that even 25 of those days I put a blog post up. So now Visual Content Helper has a lot of blog on it too. And that'll help us to build visibility there as well. So I'm just experimenting with all kinds of new things and knowing more and more that if you're going to grow big, you really have to systematize your business, and you have to think about what it is that you do and how it is that you do it so that it's something that, number one, works, and number two, you make it to where you can eventually hand some of that off to somebody else, because you can't work the back end of your business. I'm overwhelmed trying to work all the back end of my business. And I actually just hired someone to help me in addition to Mika and Cindy, who are wonderful, and I'll never, ever let them go, and Terry, who helps run the Visual Content Helper site. She actually is the manager of that site. I now am going to have somebody who is doing social media and other stuff for me, editing and things like that, graphic stuff. Actually, half a day every day, 20 hours a week.
Wow.
And so we'll see how that goes. So that's a big change that's coming up in my business. And we did a test this past 2 weeks while I was in Florida. We did a test, and it looks like it's going to work. So she's starting on Monday, and it's going to be with me 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday.
Wow, cool.
So we'll see.
You know, I was listening to, what's his name? Michael Hyatt.
Yeah.
Talking about blogging. And there was something he brought out about the 3 archetypes on how to do your voice with blogging. And I thought that was kind of interesting. He was talking about how you could, the way you write your blog, you can write it from the perspective of the sage, the person who has sort of the PhD or the tons of experience, who studied and researched, and they, you know, they're the expert. So you would, or the Sherpa, someone who's been to the mountain and can show you how to get back. You know, so they're just kind of a few steps ahead of you. Or the struggler, which is someone who is struggling along the journey and sort of recounting it in real time as they experience it.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think, well, which one am I? Sometimes I'm the person who's just a few steps ahead, and sometimes I feel like I'm the struggler, and other times I feel like I'm, you know, I know I've been there, done that, I can show you, you know.
That's exactly what my thought was. Did he say you had to adopt one voice and be consistent with it? Because I don't do that. Yeah,
he was suggesting you be somewhat consistent, although you could switch to the other. But he was just like, if you're going to have a blog, okay, hey, this is my blog where I'm in real time telling my struggles as I go through it, or okay, this is my blog where I do, you know, I'm the seasoned expert on something, or I don't know. It was interesting. And I guess I normally write from the sage because I do feel like I have a lot of wisdom about business. But on the other hand, sometimes I really am figuring something out, and I'm just a few steps ahead. And then in the Peep Show, you and I have really, it's really been about the struggle. It's really been about what's happening to us and how we're sorting through it and how it's affecting us. It's more the real time stuff. And I am moving a little bit more to that because I'm really getting into systems right now. I'm bound and determined to figure out the systems that help me run the business the best. So I have invested a lot of time and money into buying new systems lately. And then now, of course, I'm struggling to learn to use them effectively. And two that I just have been getting my hands on are, one is Edgar for social posting. And so far I really like it, but it's vast and complicated. And it takes a lot of time to put your library in there and then actually schedule it correctly. So I've made some boo-boos along the way, but I'm learning it. And what I like about it is that you put all of your content into the library and it keeps it in that library. And then you can choose to pull out what you want, or you can have it on a rotating schedule. But things that get more replies or more shares, it goes and finds more of that in your content and
follows on with more content like what is getting the most response. So it has artificial intelligence in it. It's not cheap. I wish it was not quite so expensive. But, and it does not link to Instagram or to Pinterest. And that is a big problem because more and more Instagram and Pinterest are really, really vital for online business owners. And I'm hoping that they will use that added in the future. But I'm hearing that because of the terms of service with Instagram, it's really hard for any pre-scheduled social media helper to work with Instagram. So I use Latergram with Instagram right now on my PC. And I like to do that because I hate posting to Instagram on my phone and having to do all those hashtags and all that little stuff. It drives me crazy. I want to do it on a laptop where I can see what I'm doing and my thumbs can work better. So I use Latergram. And there's a free version of Latergram, and there's also a premium version if anybody's interested in checking that out.
So Latergram posts to Instagram?
Yeah.
Because I've never figured out how you can post straight to Instagram other than with your phone.
Well, what Latergram does is you set it up on your PC and you can upload things and you can tag them and you can put all your hashtags in. And
that's what
then you have the Latergram app on your phone. And when the schedule, like let's say we said we were going to post something at 2 o'clock today, I pre-schedule it in Latergram. At 2 o'clock, my phone bings and it says, and Latergram comes up and said, you scheduled a post it now. And then you go and you just quickly hit that and it sends it to Instagram. So you still have to do a second step. But on the other hand, it's just quick and easy. It's already in there. All the hashtags are in there. All the links are in there, whatever else. I can't sit and do that on a tiny little phone.
It's a hassle.
I have fat thumbs. Do my thumbs look fat? They probably are, like the rest of me, but it's just hard. It hurts my fingers to do that on a tiny little, you know, this, that's hard for me to do. I like being on a keyboard. So anyway, that's my deal. I have been using Latergram for a while and I'm inconsistent with it, but I want to build more on Instagram. I have a jeweler client who started out on Instagram with nothing else, no website, no Facebook, no anything but Instagram. She sold $300,000 worth of jewelry through Instagram in the last 12 months.
Wow. So what does she do? She just posts a picture of the jewelry and
people buying it and people wearing it and at the beach and in the restaurant, like lifestyle pictures of people with this jewelry on. And it is fabulous jewelry anyway. But can you imagine? So don't tell me you can't build a business on Instagram because, honey, she's done it.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I know. Now, I think it might work better for actual physical product.
Probably.
But I don't know. I'm studying about that a little bit. I'm just studying. You know, I always put myself in summer school over the summer and spend time studying all this new stuff. So.
Well, cool.
All right, so, like, are you going to have, like, who's coming to your wedding? Am I coming to Chattanooga for your wedding or what?
You want? Yeah.
The only problem is if that's over Labor Day, I can't go. We got out of town company coming already.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
And it probably is
Friday before.
Yeah, I think they're arriving on the 3rd, and then they're going to spend the weekend with us. But shoot, man, it's not that far from here, and I'd love to come to your wedding.
Oh, man.
Well, if the church isn't available and you have to put it off a week or something, let me know.
Oh, okay. All right.
We could do a Google Hangout about your wedding.
A live Google Hangout.
We could do a Periscope.
A Periscope? What's that mean?
About your wedding. That'd be cool. Are you going to video it?
Yeah, I probably should. Yeah. Have to get somebody.
I mean, is this like a big, big wedding or a tiny little wedding or a?
It's very big, big. Yeah, I was just thinking of doing it outside the church. We were talking about doing it outside and then just a little reception. It's not going to be huge.
Cool. All right. What else do you want to talk about today? Jake's looking up at me like it's hot in here with all these lights. And it is.
The lighting is good.
Thank you.
Well, tell me what Periscope is, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Periscope. Oh, Periscope is a hot new thing. And if you haven't grabbed your name, you really ought to. It's another thing. Everything is from your phone. So now I'm starting to think I wish I had a 6 Plus instead of a 6 because, but that's a topic for another day because this is new. I haven't even had this 6 months yet, so I don't think I'm getting another one. But it's an app on your phone, and let's see, what can I tell you about it? The icon looks like that, if you can see it. And what it does is, in the whole idea of Periscope, the reason it's called Periscope is the people who developed it wanted you to be able to pop up anywhere in the world and look around and see what was going on. And then pop back down, just like a periscope on a submarine. So they called it Periscope. And by the way, Twitter bought Periscope before it even launched. That's how big it is already. So it is an app on your phone, and what it does is it lets you create a movie instantly wherever you are, and it broadcasts it around the world, and then people sign up to follow you, and they can watch your scopes. Movies are called scopes, and you can see, so for instance, and I mean all the big TV channels, a whole bunch of people are on there. So you push this little thing. Oh, wait, I pushed the wrong one. Hang on a minute. You push this little earth, and it brings up a map. And I don't see, probably because of the studio lights, y'all cannot. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see all the little? So you can. So like right now, there's 7 scopes going on in the southeastern United States, and I can poke on that, and it will give me like, here's somebody who's doing a scope about grilling and chilling. Here is somebody who says, here's a storm coming to the South Carolina low country as the wind picks up, and they're just sharing what it looks like. And then here's somebody who's on the Hollywood Tower of Terror in Disney World's Hollywood Studios, and they're scoping the ride. So it's in real time, whatever is happening. And they tend to be short, but people join in, they see what your topic is, and the title that you give your scope needs to be rich with keywords and compelling, so that people will say, oh, I want to see that, and they join in. And then you can save your scopes for later, and you can then download them and do whatever you want to with them. So most of them don't last but 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, but people also were starting to do a little bit of training, kind of like a live webinar on Periscope as well. So check it out. You put it on your phone, though. You can't do anything with it at all except on a mobile device. So you could probably do it on a tablet or a mini iPad or an iPad or a tablet of some kind. And then, of course, you can do it on your iPhone. And I'm sure you can do it on Droid as well. So it's called Periscope. And then you reserve an account name. It automatically gives your account the same name as your Twitter. But you can actually also go in and grab your own name. So like on Twitter, I'm Sue Painter 1. But on Periscope, I actually could still get Sue Painter. So you can have more than one account name. So anyway, that's the scoop about scope. That's the scoop about scope.
I'll have to get it. Okay.
I get lazy because it's just easier for me to shoot a video, but on my phone than to do a Periscope. But Periscope, people will join you live in the moment. And so a lot of people, just check it out and see what you think of it. And so like, I don't know, do you ever watch $1 Million Listing New York? And there's this one, the Cuban, I mean, not the Cuban, the Puerto Rican guy who's on there, Luis. He's on Periscope a lot, and he talks about the behind the scenes of selling real estate in New York, which is fascinating to Bill and to me because we're into real estate. So we watch that. It's kind of fun to see sometimes.
No. So, okay. So it's live only. And then when you're done, you can download it as a video.
You can download it. You can save it. And then other people can come in and look at it after your scope is over. Oh. If they follow you, they could go and look at your scopes if you save it. If you don't save it, it disappears in 24 hours. It's kind of like Snapchat. Isn't that the one that things disappear?
Yeah, pretty fast.
Well, Periscope will disappear in 24 hours, and it'll disappear from the list of what you've done in 24 hours too, but if you've saved it, you can still have access to it. Hey, Jake. Jake says, quit talking about Periscope and let me out of here. These lights are on. Oh, he's my baby. I'm so glad to see him again. I missed him while we were gone, but we knew we were going to be going around all over the place in Florida, and it was hot. And although it was not as hot in Florida as it was in Nashville, it was 97 in Nashville. And it was like the high in Florida the whole time we were there was 88. It was really nice.
Wow.
It was really beautiful. Did you find a place, by the way, to go to the beach?
No, because he's a school resource officer. So the only times he can get off once school starts is when the kids are out. And that's why we're doing Labor Day and so it's just such a short time for us to go anywhere. We decided to go to like Smokies or something.
Yeah.
We're trying to find a cabin in the Smokies or something like that.
Well, maybe somebody on here will have one and let you know about it.
Yeah, let me know. Something secluded that's got, more out in nature.
Romantic, secluded, hot tub. We get it.
The whole good stuff. Yeah. I don't want to be in one of these suburb cabin things.
You need Wares Valley. Something in Wares Valley would be good.
Wares Valley? Yeah.
Townsend or Wares Valley area. That would be good. I used to live up there, so.
Right. Yeah, we were looking in Wares Valley. If you know any good ones, let me know.
Yeah, almost any of them up there are pretty secluded, actually. The higher up on the mountain, the more secluded they are, that's for sure.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. So are we done, or do we have something else to talk about? Do we have any questions? I don't even know if anybody's watching today.
I don't know. I'll take a look. I forgot to announce it because I almost forgot to even be here. So let's see.
That's sweetie.
Joanne says, congrats on the engagement, forthcoming marriage, Marnie. And she says, yep, Sue, you're definitely a sage. I haven't even used Instagram yet. Heard of it, but don't even really know what it is. And then she said, I see you as a sage, even though it might seem like you're struggling along, you're still a sage to me. And I guess I come across as a sage to my list as well, even though I'm sharing things that I have struggled with.
Yeah. I think people like to know what you struggle with. I don't think it serves to pretend like everything is perfect in your world, because the truth of the matter is, if you're an entrepreneur, nothing is ever going to be perfect in your world. Things are going to shift and change around you all the time. Things are going to impact your business either from within you or outside of you. And so it's not like an easy peasy thing. You have to be willing to be open to self-growth if you are going to really work for yourself and do well. And in fact, I did a little video. If y'all want to go to my Facebook page, Confident Marketer, Facebook/Confident Marketer, and look maybe 3 or 4 or 5 posts down, I did a video, real quick video in the car coming up from Florida yesterday, I guess it was, because I had a client ask me about, well, how come I can't build my business really big? Because she keeps saying she wants to scale her business like large, like over 7 figures. And I had to say, it's because you're too fear-based. If you cannot be hugely successful in business and be fear-based. The two will X each other out, because every time you have to make a big decision and get into that discomfort zone, which is required if you're going to grow, your fear will hold you back. So you have to work around that fear, or go through that fear, or figure out that the fear is bogus, which it is bogus. I mean, really, the only thing we have to fear, now I'm going to sound like Winston Churchill, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. But the only thing we have to fear, really, fear comes from within us. Like this person was like, well, I'm afraid that some other people in my industry might like take me on and try to shame me if I try to grow bigger. Well, okay. That is not a fear from them. That's a fear in this person. Do you see? So that fear of being shamed is stronger than the desire to be a millionaire. Right. So the desire to be a millionaire has to get stronger than the fear of being shamed. So my thing is, well, what's the worst that can happen if somebody shames you? I mean, so what if they do? That doesn't mean you're no good. They just are stupid. I don't care if somebody wants to shame me. It doesn't matter. I mean, somebody said on Facebook the other day, this will be my rant for the day. I don't know, a few weeks ago, somebody sent me an instant message, not an instant message, a private message on Facebook, who had just requested to be my friend, and I said yes. And within 30 seconds, she sent me a private message begging for money. It flew all over me. It flew all over me. So I outed her. I said on Facebook, "You've been blocked, and don't friend me," and then within 30 seconds ask me for money. And then I named her. I tagged her and named her because I wanted people to know what she was doing. And somebody who follows me said, "Oh, you should have never done that. You shamed them. And that, why would you do that? And that's a terrible thing to do." Well, it's a terrible thing to do, to ask me for money within 30 seconds of knowing me too. I don't like it, and I want it to stop. And if I just blocked her and never outed her, she would just move on to the next person and do it. So live by the sword, die by the sword. If you're going to act that way, be prepared, because you're going to run up against resistance. So, this person didn't like it, and she was upset with me, and she sent me a private message and tried to lecture me about my values. And, do I feel bad about it? No, I don't feel bad about it. It comes with the territory. I'm well known, Marnie, like you're well known, and people are going to like you or not like you. Whatever. I have to live with what's in here. I don't have to live with somebody else's judgment of me. So you have to.
Somebody got hold of her account, because that's just weird.
Yeah.
It
is weird. It is weird. And
I usually assume somebody's hacked their account if I get something like that.
I would assume that if it was just an email, but when she first friended me and then did that, Plus I went and looked her up, and you could tell from, her stuff that she had been talking about this. So I'm not having it. And, that's my value. And if I don't like it, I don't have to put up with it. And if somebody doesn't like me not liking it, okay, fine. That's their opinion. I respect their opinion. They're welcome to have it. But that's not going to change what I do.
Well, hopefully she'll learn from that. Not to do that.
Yeah, hopefully she will. Well, we're over time now. Do you need to? I guess we need to run. But at any rate, that's all of our rants and good newses and bad newses and what have yous for the day. So now Marnie is going to periscope her wedding, or at least video it.
Get somebody to.
Somebody to. That's right. So I guess we'll see everybody next week.
Yep, I guess so. I have no idea what day. So
I don't even know if we've set it up, but we will, and we'll let you guys know. Thank you guys for being here today. It's good to see everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.